Welcome to the presentation, Involve Children in Genealogy Using Fun Strategies. My name is D.I.Griggs, and this presentation is from my book, I Know Who I Am on the Family Tree, a children's guide to genealogy. For emphasis in this presentation, I have simply added stock photos from Microsoft Office 365. A little bit about myself. I am the publisher of Glass Tree Books, writing books for children, and the publisher of Blue Eclipse Publishing, writing books for young adults. So far, I have written 2 genealogy books, which were awarded finalist winners from the Next Generation Indie Book Awards. I have also contributed family history stories to the National Park Service, the Natchez United States Colored Troops Monument Committee in Mississippi, and contributed 4 stories to the book Black Homesteaders of the South by Bernice Alexander Bennett. I have over 35 years experience in genealogy research. Genealogy. What is it? It's the investigation of family history and ancestry. Why do I use the 3 terms, genealogy, family history, and ancestry? Genealogy is about collecting data such as dates, places, and relationships. Family history is about the stories and lives behind the dates and places of those relationships within your family. Ancestry means who you are related to by blood. If children see and hear your enthusiasm about genealogy, they might want to know their family history too. Genealogy helps them to link their family to world history, science, social studies, geography, language, art, or whatever it is they want to become as adults. Genealogy also provides clues and information about why they love certain foods, hobbies, and sports. There are exciting discoveries to be made, and they can do it with your assistance. Children will want to know the life events, especially of their ancestors, and then create a timeline to pinpoint the interactions of their family with the world. They might discover that their relatives were from another continent and will want to examine the interactions of those continents with other cultures. Parents and teachers will also be able to use genealogy and historical events to have relevant discussions with children to help them understand past and current social issues and the world around them. Prior to learning about genealogy, have the children research the definition of these words so they will better understand how to plan a successful research. Genealogy, investigation, goal, plan, specific goal, clue, evidence, and facts. What characteristics have you noticed about your students and children? Do they exhibit the following talents or skills? By using children's own interests and skills will make learning genealogy fun and interesting. What do I want to be when I grow up? It's a universal question. What children hope to become as adults can be found in genealogy research. Do they want a job or profession like their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, or someone famous? Why do they choose this profession? Do they know if it came from their ancestors? Where do I begin? Before you approach your students or children about their family's history and genealogy, you need to answer some of these questions for yourself. Are you prepared to find out about your own family history? Are there obvious answers that you need to know before you begin? What do you know about your family? Are there large gaps in your family history? Are there oral family histories or mysteries that need clarification? Are there famous people in your genealogy? Have you shared any of it with your children? Are there secrets that you don't want known? As our mother told us when we were children, You better tell me first before I hear it from someone else. Let the genealogy adventure begin. The answers are everywhere. We just have to find them. Ask the children to write any family stories that they have heard about their family. Have them interview other family members, of course with permission, about what they know about the same story. Do not be surprised if they hear 2 to 3 different versions of the same story. Everyone's perception is not the same, not even for twins. In every story, 1 or 2 things will be true, while other things are incorrect. Both the correct and incorrect parts will be extremely helpful clues in getting to the facts. 3 stories will be enough. Children will realize that sometimes family stories have been talked about so much until they change over time, or the facts get all mixed up, or the story might not be true at all. Their goal is to get the facts about their lineage so they can be shared with the family in future generations. Advise the children that their ancestors should never be forgotten, regardless if their story is good or not so good. We can all learn from each story. As children age, some facts can be shared appropriately. Gathering around the table. Before you gather the children together, have pencils and paper available. Have also stickers, glitter, photos to cut out, and glue. Ask them to write down what they want to be when they grow up. Nothing is off limits and no teasing. What inspired them to choose this profession? Does a family member have this type of job? Do they know if an ancestor had the same profession? Do they know anything about their family history or ever heard it discussed? What would they like to know about their family? Who do they think they should ask for the answers? And then let each one share an answer. These are some fun activities that you can do with their answers. According to their answers, everyone becomes a type of genealogy detective. They are about to embark on an adventure of discovery. To help them get started, use similar activities like the ones below. Make sheriff badges for the little children with their name on it. Those who are inquisitive and like to ask questions, give them notebooks. The analyst interprets information in dates. Is it true? Is it correct? And they also create a timeline. The administrator of the children is the keeper of records in the genealogy binder. The artist draws charts and pictures from descriptions of ancestors, and they also add artistic embellishments with stickers, glitter, and design. The scientist and biologist type of child works together on the DNA data. If children want to be named something other than the detective, allow them to do it. Listed below are some of the supplies that children will need for this exciting adventure. Many of them are already in their home. Have them place copies of documents in sheet protectors and placed in their binders. Even though much of it can be kept on a computer, it's always best to have copies of the documents in their binder. Some will need cameras, some will need cell phones, access to a computer, dictionaries, highlighter pens, internet access, a library card, a magnifying glass, especially maps, notepads, a portable scanner if possible, and a printer. Who knows you best? The best way for children to learn about themselves is to ask questions from the best person who knows them. Do they know who that person is? It's yourself. Look in the mirror. Also, the best way to ensure that others know something about children is for them to write their own autobiography, even at their young age. An autobiography is a story written about someone's facts and perception of their own life. It is never really finished because of time and life events. Allow the children to write what hobbies, talents, and interests they have in their lives now. Anything that can't be answered is a clue towards hidden discoveries. Most children can write a partial autobiography. They can include some of the following information: their birth date, the city where they were born, their eye color, their parents, their siblings, their pets, music, TV shows, and hobbies. An autobiography can include much more, like favorite cartoons, movies, games, and why they like them. Assign these questions for children to answer, maybe not for a classroom project, but include the answers for their own binder. Now, this is a surprise assignment for some children and maybe their parents. It's entitled The Big Picture. Individually or as a group project, give the children an inexpensive world map. Ask them to cut out the 7 continents of the world and its surrounding islands. Next, as if the cutout continents were puzzle pieces, arrange them together to make one supercontinent. The children will see that at one time the Earth used to be one land mass. It is pronounced Pangea. It's possible that their original ancestors traveled across this landmass to hunt food and interact with other people. Children will understand that their ancestors could be a combination of several nationalities who traveled across this one supercontinent. Let their imagination soar in discussing it. Lastly, paste it on a sheet of mural paper or board, decorate it, and hang it on a wall next to a current world map. The meaning of someone's name is an important clue to where children's ancestors might have come from or what their parents were thinking when they named them. Does your child know the meaning of their first, middle, and last names? Do they know its origin or where it began? Their name might describe a character that their parents desired to see in them as adults. Sometimes babies are named after a favorite ancestor, a parent, or best friend. Some names are unique in themselves and no one else has it. It's one of a kind. For this exercise, the children might need a name book, or they can go online to see if there is a definition of their name and its meaning. Their names might have come from another country, describe a profession, be something mythological, magical, or a name for a godlike deity of nature, love, or war. Some children only knew each other by their nickname rather than their birth name. There were times when people did not know their birth name because no one ever told them. When my dad was a child, one of his classmates thought that his real name was Chicken until he was enrolled into school. None of them knew his real name except his mother and the teacher. At some point, the children's notes will need to be recorded on documents. There are many types of blank documents available rather than having to create them. Some basic documents are birth, marriage, and death certificates. Blank documents can be used as practice or as examples to show the children what information they need to look for in their research. Once the notes are transferred onto these documents, place them in sheet protectors and add to the family binder. Still, if they want, the children can create them. It will be a fun project. These are all examples of birth, marriage, and death certificates. If you have one of a family member, children will be able to see the information they need to collect for other ancestors. In many counties and states, the certificates look somewhat different, but they all reflect the information needed to record. Have the children place copies of them into sheet protectors and add to their genealogy binder. On birth certificates, record as much information as possible, but this does not have to be a class project since it's personal. If you do not have a copy to place in your family binder, you can order them from the state where your ancestor was born. You still need to verify when that county or state began keeping vital information records. If any information is missing, that is just another clue to solve. The empty blanks might be found in another document, story, and your investigation. Ask the children to add to their binder any family marriages and include the certificate or a copy of it, pictures of the bride and groom, the maid of honor and bridesmaids, the groomsman and best man, and the family of the bride and groom. If any children or pets were in the wedding, include their pictures too. Be sure to name everyone correctly and date it. If a family death certificate is available, make a copy of it for the children as an example and for their binder. The information given about the deceased person is only as good as the person who told it. They're called an informant. Sometimes death notices are printed in newspapers and online in the city where the deceased person lived and died. Clip and add it in the family binder. Children will discover that obituaries are important documents that have vital information in them. Sometimes special memories and pictures of the deceased person and their family and friends are in it. These can be clues too. Obituaries can be as long or as short as the family wishes. Sometimes old obituaries have conflicting information about the family, names, dates, and birth. If the children find that they have one, after verification, the necessary changes can always be made to a copy of it, or the children can help recreate another one and place in their genealogy binder. Be sure to choose a spot at home to keep all obituaries, like in a drawer or plastic bin. 2. Family obituaries collected over the years can be loaned to a local library or state archive to be digitized for community history. Some of the businesses, churches, and homes no longer exist, and this information will be saved for history. In many states, families set aside a day to clean their family cemeteries and tombstones. They are a major source of information. A way to encourage children to participate is to describe it as part of the adventure. Show them how to recover a name from a faded tombstone by taping a plain piece of paper on it. Gently rub over it with a dark crayon or charcoal, and the information will suddenly appear. Or allow them to go to the cemetery office with you to obtain the information you need. Children will learn that burials aren't happenstance, but require careful planning and placement that is vital for the families and cemetery business. There are cemeteries online where you can check to see where a family member is buried. Find a Grave is a free online resource for researching cemeteries all over the country. You don't have to travel anywhere to view it. Using a computer, anyone can check to see if someone else has already listed your family member's burial information. If you have proof of documentation, a deceased family member's information can be added or corrected online at www.findagrave.com. Many families get together every 2 to 3 years or more for family reunions, and children can help with them. They will learn to remember their ancestors and the successes and sacrifices they made for them. The descendants share family history, news, old family photographs, take new pictures for the family photo album, meet new relatives, reunite with others, remember those who have died between reunions, and to renew the strength and unity of the family. Reunions can be as much fun and enjoyment as everyone helps to plan and make them. It is also a time for fun, food, and games for children and adults. Allow the children to help prepare the activities for it according to their age group. Some activities might include the three-legged race, an egg toss, water balloon fights, racing, bobbing for apples, pie and watermelon eating contest, and the famous fried chicken neck eating contest. It's hilarious. Whatever you do, don't swallow. Children will be eager to help plan the next family reunion. Ask them for ideas for their activities. These are some examples of questions to ask, or they can make up their own questions based on what's important to them. What was the most fun? What games did you play? Did you like where it was held? Where do you want to have it the next time? Who did you meet for the first time? Who do you want to see again? And who should you invite the next time? Most everyone can appreciate the foods and cuisine of another culture. Sometimes the foods that a family loves can direct the investigation and adventure into a family's background. Use the internet or the dictionary to discover where a favorite food originated. Everyone might be surprised. Each child could write on a separate piece of paper why they like this food. Have the children attach a picture of them eating their favorite food or draw it, and then have them place it in their genealogy binder. Family meals are also important clues. It might be a clue of where your family lived in the world. Some family cooks will never tell the ingredients they put into their special food dishes, or they keep the ingredients only in the family, making it a family secret. There were times when families only had water, a little bit of flour or cornmeal, and a vegetable or two to cook for dinner. Have you ever heard of tomato cobbler, vinegar pie, or waterless cake? They're all delicious. Sometimes parents make up special names for a meal so their children will eat it, like, "This is the best meal you will ever eat," or "Daddy's garbage breakfast," or "Mama's special sauce." Somehow having a funny name for the food seems to make it taste better. Ask the children to answer these questions. Their best meal can be from their family or a restaurant. Watch out! Revealing the secret recipe is a trick question. Most children have a favorite sport, maybe more, and some are different from others in the same family and classroom. Have the children research and write about the country their favorite sport originated in. They might be surprised. Have them describe why they like this sport and how it makes them feel. Ask them to place their research and a picture of them playing their favorite sport, then add it in their binder. Remember, to each his own. Display a copy of a United States Census page to the children and inform them that they began in 1790 and are taken every 10 years. Who knows? They might be able to trace an ancestor that far back. But these records are only released to the public every 72 years after they are recorded. Hey, what's the big secret? An example is the 1950 census that was released to the public in 2022. As with any document, mistakes can be made. Examples are incorrect ages and birth years because sometimes people didn't know when they were born. In some cases, census writers spell names as they heard them, but not the way they should have been spelled. An example here is the name Phyllis. Some people couldn't read or write, so they didn't know how to spell their own name. Sometimes when researching genealogy, children will discover different spellings of their last name. Using my name Griggs as an example, these are the various ways that I found it spelled: Griggs, Craigs, Greggs, Griggus, and Craig. Ask the children to write down how they can use vowels to misspell their name, even if it's Smith, Brown, or Jones. On a side note, I discovered that the Griggs name is a version of the name MacGregor, as in Clan MacGregor. It is the name of a Highland Scottish clan, MacGregor. Their history claims its origins back to the 9th century to descendants of Scottish King Arvan. The clan's most famous member is Rob Roy MacGregor of the late 17th and early 18th centuries. This clan is supposed to be one of the first families in the 17th century to play the bagpipes. Their crest is a lion wearing a crown, and their motto means, "Royal is my race." Let's look at the old-fashioned way of reading a census. The Soundex code appeared for the first time in the 1880 U.S. Census. These codes reflect where family names are on the actual census record. There are differences in all census records, but 1880 was the one that included children's names under the age of 10 years old and living with their families. Children might be able to find the names of their great-great-grandparents. Give the children a copy of the Soundex code. To better search a name from the main census, a Sounds Like guide was created for the years 1880 to 1930. It was called the Soundex Code. The code reduces a family's last name with just the first initial of their last name, followed by 3 numbers. To determine the 3 numbers necessary, let's look at an example using my last name. Let the children code their name also by using the example and the guide. Next, allow the children to code their last name by using this Soundex example of my last name, Griggs. Once they follow it all the way down for the instructions, they will come up with the last numbers from the Soundex guide. Griggs is G620. If it becomes too difficult for some children, their last name can also be calculated from the Internet Soundex guide. Children will eventually learn about DNA in school, that it is the newest form for discovering where their blood ancestors came from, even to their 4th to 6th great-grandparents. It can be determined from just a small amount of their saliva or spit. Tiny molecules make up the DNA inside everyone's body, and under a microscope it looks like a twisted ladder. You can explain DNA to children in a simplistic way by comparing the DNA in a person to a flower. Flowers, trees, and plants also have DNA. DNA transports genetic cells throughout the body, like the stem of a growing flower. Genes carry specific traits as the color of your hair and eyes, just like the colors of flower petals. Chromosomes is where parents deposit 50% of their DNA into each cell of their children. But like a flower's parent, it deposits 50% of its DNA into a new flower seed. DNA combines differently with each child in the same family, except twins. Once the children get their DNA results, or yours, the real fun begins. Gather their history books, local maps, historical timelines, ancient maps, and the travels of different explorers. Children will discover how nations crossed paths in making them. Notice that the DNA percentages for each twin are slightly different from one another, but only by less than 1/10 of 1%. Family binders are a wonderful legacy for future generations. They will know that this research was completed just for them, including the funny stories and wise sayings of their ancestors. Just think, someone will be sharing a story about you in 100 years. Remind the children to place as many discoveries as they have uncovered into sheet protectors and place in their genealogy binder. Children's binders will be as large or as small as they choose to make it. Remember, never ever throw away a note until you have discovered all that you can about it. Keep the rest of the notes in a safe place for future reference. Sometimes a new clue will turn up and it happens to be on a note that has been in your possession the entire time. It's also wise to double check your notes at least once a year. Who knows what might be found? These are some of the items that children can place into their first binder. Their favorite photographs, favorite things, favorite people, and favorite treasures. Set a monthly date for the family to gather at the table again to share, compare notes, and assist with any gaps in the binders of other family members. Everyone should try to participate and contribute as a group effort. However, if in time you realize that genealogy is not for you or your children, it's okay. Not everyone is interested and would much rather offer advice or financial assistance to those who are willing to research the family history. Whenever the information is needed, the binders are available. Everyone wins. Children will enjoy and do a much better job when they have a sense of pride, purpose, and accomplishment about what they are doing. A dedication page is a good item where they can dedicate their work to someone. There are some tips to keep in mind during genealogy research. Families and groups left their countries because of wars, and some records might no longer exist. Various European immigrants came through Ellis Island in New York. Other immigrants fled to Canada and Mexico. Africans were sent to various countries by the slave trade from Africa to the Caribbean, South America, and North America. This route is known as the Middle Passage. There were already local natives in countries before explorers came to their shores. One example is the native tribes living in North America before the Europeans arrived. People in Mexico and other countries intermarried with Spanish, French, and Africans, and the Catholic Church has many of their marriages and baptisms, all documents with family information. In America, people often travel various paths from one place to another through such routes as the Natchez Trace, the Oregon Trail, the Trail of Tears, and Three Chopped Way. Some of these trails and routes no longer exist, but you can still find them named online or in history books. Books and online databases have military and war records. The National Archives in Washington, D.C. has many databases to check for ancestral records. Depending upon your background, there are more records to explore in libraries, city, county, and state archives where you live. Remember, maybe only one of your children will become the next ace genealogy detective, the keeper of the family's history. Make your family proud. These are my references for this presentation. Again, my name is D.I.Griggs, and I want to thank you for your participation in the presentation, Involve Children in Genealogy Using Fun Strategies.